What up, SNA assassinators? I'm back here. Sorry it took an extra minute. I was having some very recording technical difficulties at the moment, but I managed to refix the issue. But I'm back here with another podcast video, but this time for AEW on their Rampage show. And this was actually the best episode that I've ever seen in months. Like it's been a while. I've seen a very decent show. Like I saw on tonight's on tonight's episode on live on TNT. Well, not live, pre-recorded on TNT, I guess you could say. Like even a certain squash match was really good as well. Like even though it didn't even took like a dozen seconds, but I'm gonna get into that in just a moment. But also, yeah, we got some really good matches. Like it was like how I would expect it to be. And let me tell you, like it don't have to be on my prediction for me to like it and give it a very positively complimentary review on it. It could be like it could be anything like that's entertaining, like something that's really good for the business, something that's really good for the fans, like something that's gonna entertain is gonna be a really good decision for a long run. Like whether if it's in the programming, whether if it's in profit, whether if it's in ratings, like do something that's gonna be an all-time success. Well, I think I use the all-time terms like a little bit too much, like than I should. But the point is, like it was a really damn good show. Like I'm not gonna be surprised if I give it a high rating show. Like looking back at it right now, but yeah, I'm gonna get it started with Katsuyori Shibata and Private Party taking on the scapegoat Jack Perry and the Young Bucks in the opener, which I did assume that one of these matches were going to be the opener and the other was going to be the main event, which Brian Keith and Big Bill versus Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy was definitely main event the show. I thought it was going to be the other way around though, but like it was. But yeah, either way, it was really good. Like I cannot complain. But this is where we got the match started off with. Start off with the Bucks and Jack Perry. Like I said, like it's been a while. It's been a couple of years since the last time we saw the Young Bucks being on AEW Rampage. Let's say it was like rather like an hour version of Dynamite rather than being Rampage. Like the way they had this AEW Rampage show on this Friday, which they pre-recorded this past Wednesday. But yeah, this is where I thought I was gonna have to change my predictions, like because Private Party and Katsuyori Shibata did not have an entrance, but it seemed like the AEW kind of double fooled me on this one. And but yeah, I thought I was gonna have to redo my predictions. Well, I'm not sure if I should do them at the last minute, but either way, like it. I didn't really have to because it was exactly like how I expected it to be. Maybe just a little different on the finish, like the way it ended, of course. But yeah, this is where it started off with Katsuyori Shibata, and it was supposed to be Nicholas Jackson, but this is where when Jack Perry started hearing hearing the chant that provokes him the most, and that is the fans saying, "Oh, cry me a river," and I was saying that along with them, even though I wasn't in attendance, like in Pittsburgh, I was just watching it at home, of course. But it's where then Jack Perry got very ticked off. He was like not because I want to get tagged in, not because I want to prove that uh, I am brave enough to defeat Katsuyori Shibata on my own, even though I still can do it. Like I don't need to prove anything, but I just can't stand up and say this. I just want them to shut up, like with this song. Just where they kind of stop for at the moment, for at this time. This is where we got Jack Perry to kind of won the little technical grappling with him trying to go for like a what's that called, a Camaro lock, but once that did not work, just where Katsuyori Shibata was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me with this." This is where he was like, "Oh, like you want to get technical, like try to do it to my face." And this is where then Jack Perry's like, "No, I think I changed my mind. Like I was just trying to shut up the fans, like I said." And this is where Katsuyori Shibata, like, "Oh, of course you were." This is where then it turned into the Juji Tommy, I believe that's what it's called. This is where he got locked in, but this is where Jack Perry to put his foot right onto the rope to give it a break, like his teammate the Bitch Man did this past Wednesday. This is where we got Katsuyori Shibata trying to collect the scapegoat that love crying people rivers, but this is where he gets tricked by the scapegoat with him. But pretending that there's something wrong with him, only just to him with a strike right into his face. This is where he's like, okay, what are you gonna do now? When he was in the left side, he's like, try to give me your best shot. This is where we got Katsuyori Shibata try to hit him with a strike right after he struck Shibata. This is where he ran out of the ring. This is where then he's like, he's like, oh no, like I'm not gonna let you get away with this. This is where he chased him all around until we got to the top corner, and then this is where he got back in the ring. This is where Jack Perry already beat him to get back inside. This is where he tagged in, I believe, was Nicholas Jackson. This is where he hold on to him like in a guillotine gator roll kind of position, when Nicholas Jackson taking advantage starts stomping onto the Shibata, along with Jack Perry starts stomping with him. This is where then we got. That's where we got both Jack Perry and Nicholas Jackson then go for a double Irish whip right into the top corner to the bottom. This is where then they go for a double axe handle, but this is where we got Shibata spears Jack Perry because that's the one that was provoking him the most. So I hit some forearm strikes right to the face. I was like, I would have done the same thing, even though he's not the bitch man specifically, but you never know, like he. But you never know, because given that he's associated with Okada, so I would just did this anyway because of that particular reason. This is where we got Nicholas Jackson trying to kick Shibata right to his back. This is where he started looked like he's about to take it back when Shibata felt that, and he's like, "Oh, you're definitely gonna be sorry for doing that." And this is where Nicholas Jackson's like, "Oh no, I didn't really mean that. I got will mess with you," until Jack Perry attacks him from behind. This is where he's like, aha, like you fell for that. This is where he tried to double tricked him for some reason. This is where him and Nicholas Jackson were double stomping onto him with them provoking the private party guys. This is where we got Nicholas Jackson to continue his offense on the Shibata. This is where he tried to pick him right back up, but before he can even attempt to hit any maneuver with him waiting way too long, this is where Shibata hits a forearm strike right to the face, knocking him down onto the. This is where he's like, yeah, you're waiting too long. Like, I was getting tired of waiting. This is where he tagged in Mark Quinn. This is where they did a double knees to the midsection. This is where we got Mark Quinn trying to Irish whip Nicholas right into the left side from the right side. But this is where Nicholas Jackson moving him out of the way. This is where then we got. This is where I try to wait for him to hit a running rope bound maneuver, but he gets slide hurricane right by what's his name? By Mark Quinn. This is where Mark Quinn's like, oh, like come on, like you, like I thought you were gonna do something about it. It seemed like you're just being afraid. This is where he roundhouse kicks Nicholas. This is where he tags in Isaiah Cassidy. This is where then brother Mark and Zay then Irish whips Nicholas Jackson right to the top corner ropes from the bottom. This is where brother Zay then taunted Nicholas Jackson while dodging him right to his brother's Mark. This is where he goes for gut buster. This is where Isaiah Cassidy go for a drop kick onto Nicholas Jackson. This is where Matthew Jackson did not like what they were doing to his little brother, so he tried to run up to him, but he gets tripped right over by Private Party. This is where we got what's his name? Isaiah Cassidy riding on Matthew Jackson. Is where right on top of him, like if he was about to go for a camel clutch. But this is where we got Mark Quinn and elite right over him, hit a leg drop right onto the back of the neck of Matthew, I believe. This is where they took care of the big brother problem. All they need to do is to take care of the little brother one. This is where then. But which they did so when Nicholas Jackson tried to run and charge at them. But this is where both Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy caught him in midair or high up in the air, hit a double flapjack onto the one half of the WWE Tag Team Champion. This is where they kick right back up with what's his name, with Brother Zay just quickly try to go for a cover. But this is where we got the meddling goat that loved crying rivers came in and saved the day. For his teammates, and stopped the baby faces from winning. This is where we got Jack Perry start flipping everybody off in the arena, like if he was in Chicago. He was like, screw all you people in Pittsburgh. Hopefully the Steelers lose against the Dallas Cowboys, which the fans must have been booing like, boo, like they're not gonna defeat them because we got luck on our side. Like a couple of people that's gonna bring their good luck here in the great north of Pittsburgh or whatever they said. This is where we got Jack Perry got back into the bottom corner, the upper corner side. This is where That's where he tried to wait for Nicholas, I believe Jackson tried to tag him in, but Katsuyori Shibata boots him right off of the apron on the top corner side. Finally getting his revenge onto Jack Perry, which I was cheering him on. Yeah, like take care of him. Take care of him, wrestler. And this is where then we got Zay and Quinn then going for a crossbody right onto Nicholas and Matthew, right onto the outside with Isaiah Cassidy being goofy as always, are doing the sideways dance. But you better watch him for plenty of reasons, which I'm not sure why I'm bringing this up right now. Just a little warning by those that see the unpredictabilities of Private Party, which I'm not sure what exactly are these unpredictabilities, but I just see them genuinely doing something that you would not expect, expect the least expected kind of situation. Well, more likely, don't expect the least expected, I guess you could say. This is where Stokely Hathaway was watching in the monitor backstage with him, was very impressed of Private Party's performance, which I was totally agreeing with him, especially when it comes to the guys that are associating with that. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should mention him by name or his nickname right now. They're associated by that guy that lost to Bryan Danielson. Thank God he did. Even though he should have lost his Continental Championship, but maybe that day will come. Let's hope it will be more sooner rather than later, though. It's where we got Isaiah Cassidy was like, shots, repeatedly right into the face of Nicholas Jackson. This is where he starts doing this cross chops SI, like if he's continuing to be AEW's Montez Ford. But this is where he gets tripped right over to the left side by Matthew Jackson. He tried to hit a right hand, but this is where Isaiah Cassidy hit a forearm strike right to the face. This is where he did the same with Jack Perry. This is where we got Nicholas Jackson cartwheels right into the right corner side ropes. This is where he hits a swift kick right into the face of Brother Zay. This is where then we got Jack Perry then attacks Katsuyori Shibata, trying to get his revenge onto the wrestler. This is where he hits him face first right onto the right corner side apron. This is where it was like a 3-on-3 beatdown onto the Private Party and Shibata with Jack Perry hanging on to Brother Zay, I believe, while what's his name got Mark Quinn, I believe. No, it was Jack Perry got Brother Quinn while what's his name? Matthew got what's his name? Matthew was hanging on to the Isaiah Cassidy while Nicholas did a 450 splash with them hitting their DDT. I was like, hopefully there's not going to be no cease and dismiss papers heading their way from the Apex Predator man himself. Yeah, let's hope that's not the case. But this is where they start taunting to the fans, saying this is a lovely. This is a lovely match so far. We're loving this already because we're the ones that are performing this beautiful work of art. This is where we got what's his name? Jack Perry then tossed Katsuyori Shibata right to the bottom side. Once they were done taunting, this is where the Young Bucks then were double teaming Brother Zay right into the bottom right corner side with Nicholas Jackson did a diving elbow right under him, hitting repeated elbows until we got Matthew Jackson step in and try to hit the sliced bread with him using Nicholas Jackson's hands as like a stepping stool to hit the sliced bread. This is where we got what's his name? Matt and Nicholas Jackson hit a running knee strike right into the face of Brother Zay. He tried to go for the cover. He got a 1, he got a 2, but this is where we got Isaiah Cassidy kicking out at 2.7. This is where Isaiah Cassidy's like, my jaw. This is where then we got Matthew Jackson was like, that should have been it right there. What the hell just happened right there? This is where we got Nicholas Jackson and tags in Jack Perry. This is where then he steps in. This is where he tried to do his punishments onto Isaiah Cassidy with him picking Brother Zay up. This is where he tried to go for a power bomb, buckle bomb while on the upper left side in their corner, with the Young Bucks hitting a double step up into gear right into the back of Isaiah Cassidy's head. But this is where he smartly countered out of it, hit a sliding Hurricane Rana, which it tossed him right into the Young Bucks' legs when they're trying to hit the double insecure. It's double face first right onto the face of the scapegoat of Crying People Rivers. They managed to tag. They managed to tag themselves. One of them tagged themselves in. It was, I believe, it was Big Brother Matt, that tagged him in. Tagged himself. That's where he tried to the stop and prevent Isaiah Cassidy from tagging in his tag partner Mark Quinn. But this is where that plan failed. And this is where he kicked him right into the gut. This is where we got Nick. It looked like Isaiah Cassidy was about to hit Twist of Fate, just like his former stablemates, the Hardys. But this is where Nicholas Jackson made him did otherwise, like with him trying to go for a springboard like facebuster Majiki. But this is where he caught him right into like a flatliner position. So he just decided to hit a DDT/flatliner onto the brothers, right into the middle of the ring. This is where right after he took out the Jackson brothers, this is where he was trying to tag in his brother of his own, which that was Mark Quinn. He gave him the hot tag. This is where he started doing his comeback moves onto to the Young Bucks. Like he started hitting splashes right into the corner diagonally, right into the upper right, one in the upper right side, the other one in the bottom left side. With him hitting the swinging neck breaker onto Nicholas Jackson, he went back to the bottom left side. But this is where we got Matthew Jackson going for a sliding kick right to the face of Mark Quinn, but he hits him with a power slam. This is where we got Nicholas Jackson try to come in and save his big brother with a big elbow strike. Elbow drop. This is where he moved out of the way. Right on time. Smart move. This is where we got what's his name? Mark Quinn hits a double hurricane Rana. This is where he sent him right to the outside. This is where he's like, yeah, like you. I want them shots. And this is where then he jumps up right up on the top rope. He hits a diving swanton on both of the Bucks brothers. This is where he tried to bring him back in the ring, but this is where it was easy said than done. Like once he got the little brother Jackson back in the ring, which was Matthew, when he hits him with the springboard dive maneuver, which I believe was a crossbody, but this only got him like a 2.4 count. This is where we got him to try to go for a swanton, but this is where we got the man that loved Crying People Rivers, the scapegoat that loved Crying People Rivers, let me rephrase that. Sorry about that. But yeah, he trips him right over, hits him in his family jewels. And this is where I was like, curse you, Perry. And no, I'm not talking about that platypus with that pretty cool brown fedora on his head. But this is where then he got back down. This is where he started laughing. Like, I was like, now how is he going to have a family now? Like, since his jewels got crushed by you that love meddling, like, how you would like it if somebody did that to you and you cannot answer to your soon-to-be wife, Anna, that you cannot cannot start a family with her because you don't have the jewels to start it with, or whatever how you start a family with. I'm not sure if I'm making sense right here, but that's where we get. This is where we got Nicholas Jackson. Then hits the Falcon Arrow right onto Mark Quinn. This is where he thought he had it won. This is where he gets the shoulder up at 2.99999999999. Double 999 minus 0.1 away from being 3. This is where he since that didn't work, he tags in Jack Perry. This is where the Jack Perry didn't go for what's they called a Falcon Arrow, but this is where we got Mark Quinn and bouncing right to the top corner ropes. This is where he bounced right through them. This is where he hits a Pele kick right to the head of the scapegoat. This is where he tags in the wrestler, which that known to be Katsuyori Shibata. This is where they start hitting the forearm strikes with people like boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. This is where he goes on the right corner side, but this is where he ends up getting drop kicked by Jack Perry. This is where he did so. This is where Jack Perry like I got the power. And this is where he run to the bottom corner rope and hit him with that running his version of the psycho knee, but he gets pump kicked right into the face. This is where we got Katsuyori Shibata's like, you think that's all I've got right now? Like, I got plenty more on the tank. I can keep going all day. This is where he sends him right to the upper right corner side, and then hits some forearms repeatedly right into the face. This is where then the Irish whip him right to the bottom left side. Actually, not the upper. The upper left side. He was already in the upper right side. Let me rephrase. That's where he then sent Mark Quinn when he got in. This is where he laid out like a stepping stool for Brother Zay to step on him and hit that leg drop, like to hit their version of the poetry of motion, like if they're the Hardy Brothers. This is where we got him. The Irish whipped him from the back into the upper right corner side, so Shibata could hit a big devastating boot, and maybe they would have gotten away with this win if it wasn't. It was Jack Perry that naturally kicked out on his own, like at 2.3, I believe. This is where we got Shibata going for a snapmare. This is where we got Katsuyori Shibata going to the top corner road, but he ends up getting trapped by Matthew Jackson. And I was thinking to myself, like, funny thing is that this guy is the only guy that never got to be the legal man in this 6-man tag match, and I wonder why. This is where Isaiah Cassidy did his suicide dive, and this is where he got him right down to the count. This is where we got Katsuyori Shibata. Then go for a rolling, what's that called? A wheelbarrow roll up, like which it is kind of like the most devastating move in all pro wrestling. But it's where we got Jack Perry pushing him right to the top corner rope, but he gets hit up with a swift kick right into the face, and this is where he would have nearly got the way with it sooner if it wasn't for the meddling brothers that won't leave. That won't stop going for interferences and stopping pinfalls, of course, because that's in their nature, of course. But this is where we got the Katsuyori Shibata then cornered the scapegoat Jack Perry. This is where started some forearms repeatedly. This is where, but this is where he gets. This is where he tags in Mark Quinn. This is where we got the little brother Jackson Nicholas. Then trips over what's his name. Mark Quinn is where Katsuyori Shibata went right to the upper left corner side rope. This is where he tried to go over a haluva kick, but he hits him with a very painful looking super kick, double super kicks that I've ever seen, knocking both of them out, which I nearly had flashbacks from when they did that to me on Fight Forever, which they still owe me a rematch from that handicap match. Who knows? Maybe it could be a handicap match turned into a tag team match if I'm lucky enough. But that's a different story for a different day. But this is where we got the Young Bucks then go over a double super kick. But amazingly, he dodges that super kick, but they got a guaranteed super kick once he missed them, like when they moved out of the way when he tried to go for a double Pele kick to them. They hit a double super kick. Actually, it was a triple super kick, adding in what's his name, Jack Perry into the mix, and yeah, they successfully hit that maneuver. This is where we got Jack Perry's like, okay, one of you guys, I'm gonna tag you in. This is where it was finally Big Brother Matt, which he finally got in the ring. This is where then. His word and Matthew then tried to pick him up to try to go for a tombstone power driver. No, it was not tombstone. It was a suplex actually, but it was turned like if he was about to do a face buster version of it by draping what's his name? Mark Quinn right off the bottom corner ropes. Is where Nicholas Jackson hit a double foot stomp, which he flipped him back over and hit a power bomb. This is where it looked like he's about to win, but with some kind of a miracle, we got Mark Quinn got the right shoulder up before it was 3 at 2.999999999. Up to my mind, pulling away from being 3, and I was like, "Holy iced tea of sugar honeys!" Like he really just kicked out of that, and then this is where then he tags in the scapegoat, which fans start chanting, "Oh, cry me a river," and I was like, "Oh, what I just said, like." Boo me a that's what I said. Oh, boo me a river. Oh, boo me a river. I don't know what that even means, but it has a good ring to it. Like when it has booing chants and setting his favorite catchphrase, "Cry me a river," at the same time. With them doing the pose fella, like if he's a wannabe Sheamus, but he was more likely a wannabe Danielson when he tried to go for the knee strike. Is where he get intercepted by Brother Zay that used wasn't Mark Quinn as a stepping stool when he dug down from dodging the knee strike. This is where they turned into a Canadian Destroyer, a stepping stool Canadian Destroyer to be the exact. And Katsuyori Shibata then hits the double drop kick right into the face. This is where then they pick him up right up on the top rope. This is where they were about to hit the gin and juice finishing maneuver. With Isaiah Cassidy hit the Izagiri kick, and yeah, that's when they successfully did the maneuver. Like, too bad they won't be getting near the relative of the creator of Gin and Juice, I guess you could say. This is where then they hit the maneuver, but they knew we were gotten away with this win if it wasn't for the meddling brothers once again for the second straight time with them interfering in the match. This is where they dragged their friend Jack Perry in their corner in the upper left side. Is where we got Matthew tags himself right back in the ring. This is where then he tried to throw Brother Quinn right onto the bottom corner side, but he managed to hang on the bottom apron. But this is where we got Brother Zay that came in and then tossed what's his name Matthew out. But this is where they did double suplex on both men at the same time. Like with them flipping right up, this is where he got his brother to try to hit the double EVP trigger, which that's the worst 3-letter initials of the higher boss's nickname, I guess you could call him. But yeah, I'll say that's the worst 3-letter authority-like figure nickname that I have ever heard in this business. Like, unlike the other one that I actually like, but this is where then we got the Young Bucks trying to do the TK driver, like right off the top. What's that? With him, like with Matthew having Mark Quinn into the Tombstone power drive position. I was like, what is up with the members of the Elite trying to be like the Dead Man, the Undertaker himself, like which they aren't. This is where then the Little Bird Jackson went right up on the top apron to try to go for the 450 dive into like to do the double driver with his brother, which they call TK, which I think they should call it AK, I should say, AK driver, because it's really Anthony Khan rather than Tony Khan. This is where then we got this is where my brother Zay that came in and tripped over Nicholas Jackson face first because he realized like if he helps out, like then it helps out, and since that both men are the legal men that's in the ring, which that being Matthew Jackson and brothers Quinn, like this is where he trips him right over. This is where he flips right over and flips Nicholas. This is where he hits him face first right onto the apron on the ringside here. This is where we got brother Quinn then hits a wheelbarrow version of the most devastating move in all of pro wrestling, and he got the 1-2-3 over Matthew for his team. And the winner of this match, Private Party and Katsuyori Shibata. And I was totally happy that they got the most impressive win. And this is where we got Stokely Hathaway start clapping and start smiling. He's like, wow, like I'm impressed, which who wouldn't be impressed with this match, which is totally getting the silver trophy of the night, which is the second place spot of the best match of the night. That's why we got the Elite. We're very disappointed, that had me doing the dance of joy because I love to see this version of the Elite be in misery because I love wrestling chaos because I am the Shadow the Hedgehog of the IWC, I guess you could say. But let me know about this in the comments. I'll say, despite this win, this could be a sign that we could see the Elite is going to retain their titles, however, because it always happens like this. Like when it comes to matches like a little bit right before the pay-per-view, like they normally lose, so that's gonna be my prediction unless something happens the opposite way, like on the go home show, like with the Elite standing up tall, then that's why I assume that they can at least Jack Perry's going to lose his championship, which I don't think that's going to be happening. Like the earliest maybe at the end of the year on 2024, maybe in December. But we're probably going to be talking about all that stuff when that does happen, whether if it's at the end of this year or beginning of next year, whenever the scenario may be. But this is where we got a backstage interview with Renee Paquette with Chris Statlander, with her saying, like, she was like, I used to have a best friend and I did betray her. And then the way she speaks, and after this backstage interview, which it was interrupted, which I'm going to get into just a moment. But yeah, it seemed like she's a baby face. And then I heard from a fellow YouTuber that we could see her going back into that route, like, and he kind of even gave me some spoilers on what's going to be happening on AEW Collision tomorrow, because it was pre-taped from this past Wednesday, which I'm not going to be talking about until that day. But I can tell you like what they're probably going to be leading up to, which that's going to be after this interview. Like, but I was thinking, but it had me thinking like, what was the point? What was the whole flubbing point of turning her heel if she's going to go back into being a baby face? Like the only way I can understand this, like if Willow Nightingale turns into a heel.